to the Fitpath podcast. Today I'm with Michael Mosley, the founder of Unchained Energy. How are you, Michael?
Good, thanks, Max. Thanks for having me on board.
It's a pleasure to having you. So let me give you a little bit of context about Michael. So I met Michael at Oz Fitness Expo, and I've seen he got a booth there with the lots of obviously the supplements. And when I had a chat with him and I asked him to tell me about his story, I kind of his story kind of moved me. I thought this guy needs to be on a podcast and I need to have a chat with him. So let's start with that. How do you describe Michael Mosley?
Okay, so I guess started trading. I had this interest in trading, and then that sort of also an interest in fitness and performance, trying to do the best that I possibly can with whatever I'm doing. So as I continued with my training and everything, basically learnt through the new training that I started when I was about 30 that consistency is so important, and just showing up every day. And basically Unchained Energy is a compilation of all of that stuff to basically find your peak performance state in a range of different avenues. So it's training, it's supplements, and also mindset. So Unchained Energy is basically all about combining those features, and that's been my mantra to basically figure it all out first, and then I'm pretty happy with where everything's at, and I thought I'd launch Unchained Energy to bring it to the people.
Yeah, okay, that's a pretty good, I think, the mission and goal in life. So let me step back a little bit, right? What made you exactly to start this? What was the thinking at a time that, hey, did you saw something, experience something, or what has happened within you that you said, look, I'm going to do this, and that's how I started?
Yeah, so it was probably more to do with my training that I was doing. So it was bodybuilding training, and the progression that I'd found was I was very happy with it compared to what I'd done for about 10 years. I'd worked hard, but it didn't really translate. So understanding the importance of consistency, eating right, and having that mentality to just keep pushing and don't let anything stop you. So that I was spending too much time at gym as well. So I thought I really need to do something in this space so that I don't feel like I'm not wasting my time, but have an extra layer to it. And Unchained Energy was basically born out of me needing to do something in that space, and to also help people. And just understanding that consistency, so many people don't have the techniques to get that drive and to just keep going with things.
Yeah, I mean, this is another interesting story that I heard. I think, so for the sake of the context for audience, my only impression was that Michael is doing supplement. But when today I was having a chat pre this interview, I also learned and realized that his plan and his program is beyond only the supplements. He also working on a program. Tell us a little about that. So what is that included in? What is it like?
Yeah, so obviously I started with the supplements because that was one way to enter the market and bring people, I guess, the nutrition that they needed. But my, I guess, point of difference in the market is the understanding of different techniques such as breathing techniques, meditation, visualization, bringing all of those concepts together to tell your mind and get your mind to say, yes, I'm going to do this, and then the body will hopefully follow. Your body doesn't make a decision before your mind does. So if we can train the mind to say, yes, I'm going to gym or I'm going to eat this right food, then hopefully that will create a lot of really good outcomes for people.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a big important thing, right? So not necessarily if you want to get to the at some stage to the level of the fitness that your goal is, purely or solely supplements are not going to take you there, right? There's a lot of other aspect of that you need to build your lifestyle up on them to make that happen.
Exactly, and so many, I guess, businesses and things are built around just one element, whereas I want to encompass, I guess, the elements that aren't looked at so much.
Right, right. I mean, we just started talking about that. So basically, from what I understood, is supplement is one of the branches of your Unchained Energy. The other thing is like the mental or mindset training. So what is it like? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, it'll start off as a program where you, I guess, learn the techniques, design and develop what your goals and desires are, because you need to understand where you want to be before you can start making your way there. And then these techniques will basically help you get from that point and overcome challenges easier, communicate with people more effectively and have a better understanding of the life that you're living.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also you mentioned you authored an ebook as well on that, which is like the available for the public. Is that right? So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the ebook's free on the website, and basically it covers a whole range of different steps to. It's not so much mindset. That's going to be a whole different program, but it does cover certain elements briefly to align your life in a holistic kind of point of view. So it covers like budgeting, it covers basic diet comments, sleep, and it's using the 80-20 principle. So, for example, it talks about water, because water makes up a large portion of our body. So we've got to focus on the water, and then we've got to focus on the sleep, because that takes up so much time in our day, and just different ways to actually focus on these elements that can really make a big shift in our life. So that's the ebook. And if you follow, it's like a 14-day plan, and if you follow that, hopefully you'll come out the other end feeling a little bit better about things, and perhaps removing some of the detriments that you occur in the day-to-day life.
Right, that's amazing. And the fact that you just put that up in the public for free, that's another amazing thing that I think contributing to the community, right? But if someone wants to go through that, let's say I liked it, I went through that program, what would be the next step post that?
Yeah, so we'll be launching shortly, and what you do is either get in touch, or there'll be a button on the website where you can just go and register, jump in and start developing out your goals and aspirations, and learning the techniques that can hopefully help you get to that stage of life that you'll be super happy with everything, and you'll be waking up every day with energy in your step, and excited for what's to come.
Is that reality though? Like do you let's reflect back on that. So I mean, obviously there are times that you go through tough times, like there's up and down. Let me ask you this question. What would you do during those days to push through those tough days?
The tough days, yeah. So knowing that you're resilient, getting up and just doing the things you don't want to do proves to yourself that you're resilient. So while you may not be super happy about that thing in particular, you're proving to yourself that you can do anything, or you just get up and get it done. And that's really motivating in itself, to do the hard things, and then obviously your life starts becoming a little easier because you've done that tough thing. You feel better about yourself, and you gain that confidence that you can overcome anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That also ties back to the fact that what fitness gives you, right? So they build the confidence within you so that you can tackle everything in life, right? It's just not only on the fitness. And my take on the fitness journey is you're not only aiming to have the good or something that maybe society likes as a physics, right? But also is more of like the mental strength that you build along the way, which is going to help you throughout the life in solving the complex problems.
Absolutely, and building those habits, and when you feel good about things and you've gone to gym, your chemicals are flowing as they should. I feel like other things in the world seem to work.
Right.
It's a weird, unexplained kind of coincidence, but when your gym's going well, you're eating right, other people respect it as well.
Absolutely.
And, it helps with your relationships and communicating with those around you.
Absolutely. There's a great vibe that build around you, and a positive energy. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me step back again. I want to learn a little bit about where Michael started this journey. tell me about your early days, maybe your childhood. How did you get into the sport, and what sort of sport did you start it with?
Yeah, I guess when I was quite young, I was quite sick. And after that, I realised, life is quite short. We've got a certain amount of time and we want to make the most of it. We've got X amount of time. It taught me to be very realistic about the reality of things. And I really wanted to be as fit and healthy as I could, as soon as possible.
What age are you talking about?
I was 13.
Okay.
And I was, quite unwell. And then basically I think that really helped my mindset side of things to learn how to overcome certain things and to push out of it and become strong and healthy and to love life. And so I was right into gym through my teens, and I just love the feeling of being physically well. And it probably stems from that back in the day. And then also I was always trading and trying to learn the financial markets and business and all of those sorts of things. And I realised that it's not just knowledge that you need. It's actually a combination of multiple things. You need to be able to communicate. You need to be able to think outside the box and find avenues to make things work. And fitness is obviously a part of all of that to basically keep you strong and fit and confident to be able to push through and make things happen.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So when at the age of 13, so you started to going to the gym. Was that the first sport you started, or?
Probably about 15 and a half. There was a couple of years of, riding my bike and being a kid. But then I just, I enjoyed gym. I probably did it for about 15 years before I actually took on a proper coach. And then that was when everything really shifted. So a lot of people say, when you hit your 30s, you become, less able to do things. You're not as strong, you get injuries, blah, blah, blah. But I've never been fitter or stronger or healthier because of the programs that I've been taking on.
Absolutely. So was anyone else in the family was into the sports or fitness?
Not particularly, no. It was very much an internal process, and it's really good, I guess. For me, it was like a mental resilience tester. It's like, how far can I push myself? What can I do? What can I achieve by, lifting these weights or whatever it is that I was doing?
I mean, that's brilliant. That's exactly, not only I hear from you, but also any other people that I'm just interviewing sitting in that seat, that they are doing fitness, they're also saying the same thing. And one of the things that I picked up in our interview, at least in last 20 minutes, was I think you mentioned resilience multiple times. What resilience mean to you, and how the fitness gives you this resilience?
Yeah, so I guess when it comes to business and other things, resilience is, I guess, harder sometimes because you don't see anything come to. So you're almost relying on other people. When it comes to fitness, it's a slow process, but there's nobody else to blame but yourself. You are in full control of the entire outcome. So you can turn up every single day with that resilience and just show up every single day, and you can see it work. And then that can then translate into other areas of your life. You know it works in fitness. There's got to be a method to that. I'm going to apply it to these other areas.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So I suppose do you think there would be any other way to teach you resilience other than what you've gone through in fitness?
That's a tough one. That is good. So doing hard things, starting for something such as taking a cold shower in the morning, a little tiny thing, or doing something that's a little bit challenging. It doesn't have to be super tough. For example, if you eat lunch out every day, you could switch to a healthier option just once a week even, just something to start telling your brain that it's okay to do the right things, and then that habit will basically escalate if you keep training yourself to keep doing those things.
Absolutely.
And then you look back, in a year or two, and you've, instead of just one habit, you might have changed 10 or 20.
Absolutely. I mean, just again, it's very interesting what you mentioned, because I yesterday also had an interview one of the ladies where she does like the powerlifting, and she also mentioning about the exact the same thing.
Wow. Yeah.
Which was quite interesting. It's what I'm getting also, like I'm also interviewing other people who are in different stage of their fitness level, right? So I'm competing in elite levels. I'm doing for the health and etc. But the gist of it is exactly the same, and that's like fascinating, right? You see like the people who've gone through the journey, different path in this journey, but also came to this same conclusion, and that's amazing. And again, just I'm repeating myself here for anyone who's listening. So every big journey start with the smallest steps. Like take the smallest step possible, but take it, make the action. So, and don't expect with the high expectation that you want to get this in a day or two, or in a week or two, even a month or two, because these stuff will happen, but you need to give it a time. Like if one person's goal is like to, let's say, be in a fit physically or mentally, and that's a goal, and go to the gym and then come back home and looking at the mirror, you won't see any changes. Second day, you won't see any changes. Second week, you won't see any changes, but it will happen. There will be a time, there will be a point in time that would be the tipping point. Is that right? You agree?
Absolutely, yeah. Building the habits and trusting the process is more important than having a really strong first or second day.
And the other thing, like while we're talking about this, I mean, there are also some people that thinking about this, right? They want to do it, but they're always looking for an ideal time. Like I'm going to start the gym from next Monday, or it's going to be my New Year resolution, or I'm going to start it from January, or I'm going to start it when I get that shoes or that thing. So what do you think about those people?
Yeah, I guess it depends on how important it is to them. If it is important and it's truly something they want to do, it does come down to breaking down the mindset of like, okay, what's going to make me actually do it? Waiting for another time is never going to be the answer. There's some sort of trigger there that you've got to say, okay, this is it. I'm going to go do it, because it'll get to that New Year's Eve time, or your birthday, or whenever it is. You've bought all your stuff, and then you'll make another excuse. So trying to filter out all those excuses. If there's an excuse comes up, figure out why that is, and just bulldoze it. You've got to make the decision to just get in there.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So I suppose like you embarked on a journey of building a brand, Unchained Energy, and think out of the box, not only predominantly focusing on selling supplement, but also building a program that you can help and look at the fitness at the holistic level. Because, I mean, doesn't matter what supplement you take, it's not going to take you there if you don't follow the other aspect of being fit, right? Which is amazing. To me, I think that seems like the whole package you're kind of offering. What key lessons you've learned when you started this journey?
The key lessons, I think, was, again, back to just doing the work and building the habits. I'd go... One thing that I realised was I would go to gym, I'd have a really good session, and then some days I didn't want to go. This is when I was training properly, but I still went, and even if I couldn't lift as much or I couldn't do as long a session, I still went. And after coming home or the next day, I thought, I still did it, and that was really the key element of changing it, was building that consistency and not letting it fall off the wagon for too long. Yeah, absolutely.
That's very interesting one. Like I was on that context is like I was reading a book from one of the good Japanese author. I forgot his name. Sorry, but I'll probably put that book, the link to that book in the description of this podcast. And his point was like our muscles is like the pet, like they tend to be lazy. right? They want to be lazy. There's the intention to be lazy if you don't push them, right? So because it's a conscious, like it's a body trying to preserve energy, right?
Yeah.
Your body doesn't want to go to the gym and to going through the hard thing. But what you need to do, you need to train brain to be able to say, hey, who's the boss here? I'm the boss here. You got to follow this, right?
Yeah.
And that's how you make the differences, right?
Yeah, that's the first step.
Exactly. So if Michael would have gone back to maybe that 13, 14 at that age, would there anything that you would have done differently or?
Yeah, absolutely. Probably from, say, 18 to 20, because you don't want to, I guess, start training too hard too early for whatever reason. I'm not too sure on that. But starting a proper bodybuilding and nutrition plan, my 20s would have been way cooler, I think. I would have been so much stronger, more confident, able to just navigate the world a bit better had I got the help and got the coaching that I've had over the last 4 years from my trainer. That's probably one thing that I would definitely change.
Absolutely. It's like for me, it's someone have gone this path a few times, but this is you're going through this journey for the first time. Obviously, the person who's been there might be able to give you more hand and tips and tricks to make sure that you go this path and you get it to the other end of it. So
absolutely. And one thing, I was going to gym and going hard through my 20s, but it wasn't resulting in what I needed. And it's like the specific training that made such a difference.
What was that, a specific training?
So it was I was getting trained by a bodybuilder, and he gave me a program to follow and the nutrition, and all I did was just go in and follow that. It was actually easier than my training that I was doing, and I got better results. So
Okay.
I just couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Do you want to name that person?
Yeah, so it's Luke Shembry on the Sunshine Coast, Shembry PT.
And this goes for Luke.
Yeah,
you made an impact.
Yeah, absolute impact. So that was kind of the push of where I've sort of come and got the confidence to do all the things that I've done over the last probably 3-4 years.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. If I ask you this question, what was the goal? I mean, what you are aiming for? What is the end goal for you? Let's say in whatever years it would take. What you want to achieve? Yeah,
probably freedom to wake up every day and work on the things that I enjoy, and go to gym every day, and go and meditate and just breathe and be near the water. That's probably the ultimate goal, and then also to help people get to that level themselves if that's their goal, and to help them overcome challenges that aren't necessary.
Yeah. Absolutely. So let's also look at these ones. So what we got here, just walk us through this.
So we've got pre-workout, and then so that's really good for just getting a boost before you go to gym.
Yeah.
We've got citrulline malate. I've been using this for probably about 6 months to a year. It just gives you such a good pump, so you feel great after the end of the session, and everything's like just pumped up. I don't know health-wise what it's actually doing other than perhaps like a little bit of recovery, but it makes you feel pretty good afterwards. Creatine, that's probably the best standard. Yeah, everyone knows about creatine. If they don't, they probably should. It's one of the best supplements that there are other than just protein. And then we've got Oxyglow, or it's basically a collagen powder. So really good for the skin. You want to also look after your skin and other parts of your body, not just the muscles. So we're also going into nootropics, so brain sort of powders and things like that in the future as well. But it's not just all about the muscle; it's also about the other elements of the body.
Yeah, absolutely. I also wanted to understand: do you read books?
I do, yes.
Okay, that's amazing. Because I think one of the things that I wanted to kind of to share with us, if there would be any book or even any other material, let's say it could be a movie, it could be a statement or anything that you kind of like that you read inspired you or motivated you, what were they?
Yeah, absolutely. So probably my top one that I recommend to people that have an ailment or whatever it is Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza.
Okay.
This book basically helped me get back into gym. I was basically only able to do leg day for probably 2 years. I couldn't even type or use a mouse with my right hand because I'd had an injury with my wrists. I could barely wash up and basically do anything. And 2 weeks after reading this book, I used the techniques and my arm was able to be used again, and I could type and use my mouse and do work.
Wow.
So it was a really big impact for me, and just knowing that having these I guess knowledge base can really shift your life. It was incredible for me. Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's my top book.
Okay. What would be the second one?
The second one would probably be How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's been talked about a lot, so I won't go into detail. But
That's also a great book.
Very good book for understanding how to talk and listen, which is probably the most important thing was listening. Just stop, let other people talk and understand what they're trying to get across.
Yeah, I kind of like your list so far. So what would be the third one?
Third book, it's actually a marketing book by Sabri Subi, I think it is. He's a guy in Melbourne who does marketing, and it's Sell Like Crazy. And I just remember I read the book, I implemented what had been done. I'd been messing around with like lead generation and stuff like that for years. And then I read this book, and the next day I had a lead come in, which was the first lead I'd basically ever got. And I thought, oh my God, like this is so cool.
Yeah, that works.
After all that learning and watching YouTube, and then this was the book that actually shifted that for me.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. So I suppose so anyone who wants to embark this journey, you probably suggest to read that book as well.
Yeah, on the business side of things,
on the
definitely.
Business.
Yeah, understanding people and what drives them, and what makes them want to actually buy what you have. Yeah.
So is it challenging to be an entrepreneur in this age and time?
Absolutely.
What are the challenges you're talking about?
Yeah, so as with gym, you're not going to start off doing that well. You're going to take time. It could take 2-3 years perhaps before you start getting any sort of traction that's noticeable. And I feel like that's very much the same with your business, and learning all of the skills, that's one part, but then actually implementing it and hanging in there, keeping consistent again until it takes hold, and building that understanding of what people actually want.
Right.
Yeah.
And so are you doing this on your own, the business, or you have some other partners as well?
Yeah, it's just myself and my wife, who I think you met her at the Fitness Expo. So she helps me with a lot of stuff, marketing, making things look pretty, and just giving a second opinion on things. She's a big help, but just me and her really.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So if people want to get in touch with you and learning about your products and your program, how they can do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is the free ebook, which you can register for on the website. And then I'll get in touch with you if you register. I'll just send you an email and just say hello. Otherwise, you can connect with us either on Instagram or YouTube even, and we'd be happy to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely suggest people doing that. I also want to ask you about your own specific fitness, regime. So how often do you go to the gym, and what do you do normally?
Yeah, so I generally do about 4 to 5 times a week for about an hour to an hour and a half of resistance training. And then I'll do between sort of 3 to 5 cardio sessions, not always because I struggle to get the cardio in. And then I'll do sauna. Sauna was actually a really big turning point for my training as well, because the recovery was so quick.
Absolutely.
It takes a bit of time, and seems a bit pointless while you're sitting in there, but the after effect is that you can get back into gym the next day without the pain.
So you go to the sauna after every session you go to the gym?
When I have time, definitely try and get in there for about 20 minutes. I think the average rule is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And when do you normally go to the gym? Do you have consistency in terms of the timing of the day?
Yeah, it has been over the last probably couple of years. I generally try and get there between sort of 9 and 11 in the morning, and do my session, do the sauna, and then come home and do more work. Sometimes I'll go in the afternoon, but trying to avoid those peak hours is critical. You know, it's good to be able to just jump onto the machine that you want and rip it out.
Absolutely. That's amazing. And what do you do for your cardio?
Cardio is either like run or walk on the treadmill or just on the bike. And I try and get a fair bit of walking in just around the place, you know, going and doing some breathing around the water and that sort of thing. So,
okay.
yeah.
What about a supplement? Which supplement normally you take? Because this is interesting. Like you're the founder of all this. Like, I'm interested to see what you take.
So that's why I brought all these. These are actually from my personal cupboard. Right. So these are all things I use every day. And then also protein, so quite a bit of protein powder, and because it brings the cost of your meat products down. If you're getting that amount of protein from your meat, it'll unbalance your diet a bit. And I think it's almost critical that people get not only just the protein, but generally from a protein powder, it helps just get it in the amounts that you need. Absolutely.
And you mentioned about diet as well. So how's your diet looks like? Like, tell me about like a day of your eating food at home.
Absolutely. So generally I'll have about 3 meals, a couple of snacks, very light snacks like maybe a banana or some yogurt, and then 2 protein shakes a day.
Okay, so let's say like what would be your breakfast like?
Breakfast, usually it's a couple of eggs with some of the egg white stuff that you can buy from Coles, some mushrooms and a bit of spinach, a couple of bits of toast, and then that'll set me off for the day. Generally have a protein shake soon after that. Yeah.
And what about your lunch and dinner?
Lunch and dinner are very similar. So there'll be either some rice or like some sort of carb, and then either chicken or fish or beef patties. I do love a burger, so often I'll sneak in a burger as like the couple of beef patties in there.
Yeah. Do you have a cheat day as well?
Once a week I'm allowed to just have whatever I like, kind of thing. Yeah, within reason. Yeah.
And you're looking forward to those days, right?
Oh yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah.
And it's also good for body as well, because those are the ones that really get our metabolism to kind of like the fuel to kind of like the get to burn more. So
and wake the body up. You know, you can't get too into a rhythm because your body just gets used to it. So you want to throw it a bit and, you know, throw out some curveballs, make the body resilient too, right?
Absolutely. So is there anything else that you want to talk about that we haven't touched? Obviously, I can go for hours on this podcast because I really enjoy talking to you. You're a lovely guy and your story is amazing. I loved it. But is there anything else that you want to talk about that we haven't touched?
I think we've covered a fair bit. You know, it's I don't want to sort of talk about resilience and consistency again, but just that's one thing that's really shifted my whole perception of how things work, and just to hang in there and just keep doing the things. As long as you're on a good path and you're doing the right choices, the goals will come.
Absolutely. And I kind of like to hit with my last question, which is a little bit difficult one as well. So if you want to describe your journey, your fitness journey in one word, what would that be?
That's a good question. In one word.
What comes to your mind?
Interesting, I guess. You know, it's interesting because you go from not knowing things to then understanding how things work, and then, you know, it's like a learning process the whole way through. So, yeah.
And maybe the last one is like so what would you suggest to the people listening to this podcast? I mean, there might be people who they have kids, right? There might be people who are in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s. What would be Michael's message to those people?
Yeah, my message. So I guess in terms of the mindset program that I've been sort of talking about here and there, a lot of people have things that they, I guess, don't know how to overcome straight away, or they don't have the techniques or the tools. I guess one thing to leave you with is go and at least have a look at the ebook that I've done and see if anything helps you in there, and hopefully if there is something in there, then perhaps the actual program could be something that'll help push you to that next level and get the things that you want out of life.
Absolutely. I think that's a good one. I think it's also, I'm intrigued to also go and read about that ebook as well.
Yeah.
And anyway, thank you very much, Michael. It was really interesting conversation and inspiring conversation. And I'm hoping that I have you another time on the show as well.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Max. It'd be good to come back someday.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye. And that again ties back to the fact that what fitness let it go back to the normal one. So I kind of started recording.
Excellent.
So is there anything else you want to tell before we kick off?
No, I think,
are you ready?
I'm a little bit nervous, but we'll see how we go.
I'm sure you will smash it. Definitely smash it.
Excellent.
There you go.
All
right, we kick off. Oh, actually, I was recording. Sounds like I'm more nervous than you. You did it!
Oh, how was that?
That was good. Well,
are you hot?
Well done.
Awesome.
You smashed it. This was pretty good.
It was okay. Yeah. That's
It was
my
pretty good.
first podcast. So.